Might have been way too hot for overalls. Hello, fellow plant people. Welcome back if you are returning. If you are new, my name is Jen. I go by the Leafy Geek here and also on Instagram. And today, I'm going to show you my favorite Hoyas. I have a lot of them. You might have been able to check out my Hoya tour. It's a three-parter because I couldn't fit all of them into one video to edit. Too much Hoya for one video. You can check out all three. I will put them in the cards. Today I wanted to kind of condense that a little bit and show you some of my favorites. I don't really know if I'm showing you these in any particular order. I don't think so. I know I love them all in different ways. They're pretty cool in their own unique, special ways. We're going to start with this one regardless of order. This is by Hoya Carnosa Compacta Variegata. So I got this plant from Logi's at the end of February this year. So I've had this in my collection for about 4 months. And I am pleased to say I have some mixed reviews about it. I will say that this end of the plant is super impressive, as all of this is new growth and it just continues to grow. However, I was worried about this side of the plant toward the root ball, because there is one branch on here that is completely white. It's producing all white leaves. So whenever that happens, it's kind of a warning sign in that since these leaves aren't really producing any chlorophyll at all for the plant to feed the plant energy, these tend to shrivel up and die. This has lasted 4 months. However, there were some all white leaves at the base here that have recently browned and fallen off. So it's okay. It'll, the base of the plant, all the other leaves seem to be doing fine, so I don't think it's any sort of root issue or infection issue. Everything else looks really good on it. And of course we have that new growth up front, up top, I should say. It's just very variegated. I have it in very bright light, almost direct sun. It just misses that edge where the direct sunlight in the afternoon comes in my west facing window. So Hoya Carnosa Compacta Variegata. It's number 5 on my list of favorite Hoya. Next one I'm going to show you is my Hoya Jennifer. This one really does hold a special place in my heart because it's probably the first relatively hard to find Hoya that I acquired. It's also the first Hoya that I managed to bring back from the brink of death. When it arrived, you've probably heard the story a couple of times if you've seen any of my other plant or Hoya videos. Hoya Jennifer got to me. These are the 2 original leaves right here. It was in really rough shape, stuck in a terrarium for a long time, and eventually it decided to live, and had since put out this leaf. This was the first indicator to me that this plant was going to be okay, and that I was going to have Hoya Jennifer in my collection and not just a dead stick. Hoya Jennifer is a hybrid Hoya, so it is a cross between 2 different Hoya species, and the species are Hoya incrustata and Hoya finlaysonii. I love that combo. The leaves are really robust and almost cardboard in terms of their rigidity, and they have that beautiful veination that you see in Hoya finlaysonii. I love that. I can't get enough of the foliage on that particular Hoya, and this one just has the best of both. So yeah, this is a special one, and I am really fortunate that I have it. I do see a couple of new growth points on it. Looks like that one, and then I saw another one that one, and well, this one has been kind of dormant for a little while. But I'll take it. It's a survivor, and I can appreciate that. So number 4 in this video is Hoya Jennifer. Oh, look at you. Next up on my list of favorite Hoya, this is my Hoya Fungi. And I know you've gotten a peek at this in a few other videos. Fungi has made an appearance. But you guys, it's such a pretty Hoya. It's an understated Hoya. It's not as flashy as some, but the leaves are just amazing. They're this kind of fuzzy underside, and then if you give it good light, you can see that there is some veination there. It's not just a solid leaf, green leaf Hoya, which there's nothing wrong with those. I love Hoya for their growth habit as well as for the foliage. The blooms are always an added bonus, but you just can't beat this. Fungi I've had in my collection for, wow, we're coming up on a year. It was October of last year, of 2019, that I acquired this one from an Etsy seller, and it was really stable out of the box. It got to me and was really, really healthy. Everything looked great. I let it stabilize. I didn't repot it right away. When I did get it into the soil that I use, it said okay and started to grow some additional leaves, and then did kind of slow down for the winter. But as you can see, it's made some significant progress in this growing season. So I am not seeing any additional leaf buds per se on it. I lied. I have a couple of leaf buds right there on that node. And it looks like there's a few down here. So this, okay, it's still actively growing. I had it off trellis for a while. It was just kind of hanging out. And then this tendril just shot out and all of a sudden was reaching across my room. So I did have to end up trellising it just to contain it a little bit. And it is loving it. It loves its location. It's one of the Hoya that I have under an artificial light. It's under one of my aspect grow lights, and that's really its only light source for a big chunk of the day. It's in the interior of my home. It's in a corner, so it's kind of in between windows. It would be a dark corner if not for that light, but the light that it does get is artificial. So it's such a versatile, flexible, adaptable specimen of a Hoya, and I love it. So number 3 on my list of favorites is Hoya Fungi. You guys, I have a Cortesia and she's happy. I have heard mixed things about Hoya Cortesia. Either it's one of the easiest Hoyas to grow, or it's one of the most temperamental heartbreakers of people's Hoya collections. And I have experienced both. Disclaimer, this is not my first Cortesia that I've tried to grow. I did acquire one from an Etsy shop last year, and it didn't arrive well in good condition. It was the odds were stacked against it well before I owned it. It seemed like it was just a sickly plant, so I was kind of discouraged by it. And then last August 2019, this became available on Steve's Leaves on their website, and so I picked one up. At that point, it was probably none of these tendrils were a thing. It was a good-sized full plant. It just didn't have this length, and it kind of grew, you know, a leaf or two over the winter. It ended up growing, one of my steadier growers over the winter. But this summer, you guys, it's just, I have to hang it. I can't set it on a shelf anymore. Either a shelf and let these hang over, or I really should hang it and just let it drape. But Cortesia is one that I quickly became enamored with when I picked this one up from Steve's Leaves. It's just a really beautiful specimen of Cortesia. All of these vines have new active growth, it looks like, just from a cursory check here. And what I love about Cortesia is that the leaves are so dappled with this kind of olive green and silver. And then if you have it in bright enough light, which I don't know that I necessarily do, sometimes the undersides of the leaves turn like a reddish purple, like a faint reddish purple. Oh, interesting. I have a forked vine here. I've never seen that. Looks like it split and started growing from a single vine. I didn't know it could do that. That's amazing. You're amazing. Really, really love this plant. It does like, in my experience, it likes to be more frequently watered than some of my other Hoyas do. It's a little thirstier. But that's about it. You know, I just try and follow the regular Hoya rules with it as much as I can. Bright and direct light, making sure the roots aren't sitting in water. There we go. Hoya Cortesia. So this is the second to the last Hoya that I'm going to feature in this video of my favorite Hoyas. But before I show you number one, I want to cut to kind of a montage of some honorable I am a big, sweaty dork today. The dew point is 68%. It's time for me to show you my favorite Hoya, and you might have guessed it. It's my Polynura, also known as the fishtail Hoya. This beauty I acquired in November of 2019. I got this off of Etsy, so from an Etsy plant seller, and you know, it's pretty impressive to me from this plant's humble beginnings where we are now. This was a pair of single node cuttings when I received it, and it has since become a 4-vine plant with 3 active growth points on 3 of the vines that are producing new leaves. And It's just beautiful. I really, really appreciate Hoya polyneura because it is quite unique from a lot of my other Hoyas in terms of both growth habit and also just the shape of the leaves. And you know, I love the way that it trails. I have this in a hanging basket and it's very, very happy where it is, probably about 2 feet, 1.5 to 2 feet away from a southwest aspect in my window, in my west. It's a west facing window, but the light that hits this polyneura is southwest. So it's just a little bit back from the window. It does get some afternoon sunshine, but I also have some obstacles that kind of block that full harsh afternoon, late afternoon sun, namely my neighbor's house and a couple of trees. So polyneura, super happy where it is. I am super happy with this plant. It's my favorite for a reason. And these leaves, the new leaves, are a lot more delicate than these more mature leaves. They do harden off and get a little bit darker as they mature. The veination is still visible, it's just a little bit less pronounced on these darker green mature leaves, but I love that contrast. So pretty. So, so pretty. Hoya polyneura. Guys, that's it from me. These are my favorite Hoya in my collection. I do love all of my Hoya, but I do have that handful that just bring me that little extra spark of joy. And so from me to you, if you collect Hoya, I hope that you have those Hoya that really bring you that spark of joy. If you don't collect Hoya, also whatever plant floats your boat, I hope that your collection brings you as much joy as my Hoyas bring me. If you want to engage down below, like or subscribe or leave a comment, let me know what your favorite Hoya is if you collect Hoya. I'd love to have that conversation. So do all of the things down below if you'd like, and until next time, enjoy your plants.